92.5 FM.
And we welcome you to a Monday installment of the program. Glad you're with us. Frangie and Carlyon here on location. JJ LaSelva back at World Headquarters. The coach, Liam Coen, will join us momentarily. He just finished off his press conference. He's finished doing a little photo op right now, and then we should have him on the program.
Does he know we're right outside his office?
I think we do. We could have done it from in there, but we are set up here at the Miller Electric Center. It's a wonderful place and a wonderful day for Jacksonville. I thought he was fantastic, real, genuine. For people that didn't see the press conference, you can the Jaguars.com had it. We aired it on the radio station as well, so there's ways to see it. But I thought that was a very genuine, very real guy. That's what I took out of it, among a bunch of other things.
I agree. I thought he was outstanding. And, he was asked about the offensive line and the lines of scrimmage, and that's obviously been a big talking point around here for a long time. And I loved what he said about the offensive line. It's the first thing the defense sees, and that's got to mean something. And I don't know that it really has around here. So, yeah, you got obviously a great sense of the importance of physicality to Liam Coen. He obviously talked about his mentors, which are vast, and how they've helped him. He has obviously a tremendous family, and it's going to be a lot of exciting times, I think, watching him guide this very talented offense. I mean, it's pretty clear he thinks he's inheriting a cupboard that's pretty full.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. He likes what he saw. He's going to be asked a lot of questions about what to make. He can't know the team very well yet, but I'll say this: he certainly he knows what he knows. He certainly has a good feel for that, and I don't think there's any question that he's got a pretty good feel for this football team. He had a cool answer when he asked about Trevor. It was the first time I saw Trevor. He was in high school. I thought he was recruiting.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he must have been recruiting. He saw his high school kids. That guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think that stood out to me as well.
Probably wasn't going to get him to go to Maine.
Yeah.
That was probably a long shot.
Probably wasn't. So a number of things stood out about this to me more than anything else. And listen, first introductory pressers are always everyone's in a good mood. Everyone's always happy. Everyone's always excited. There's nobody not excited to be at one of these. Okay, so that part we could have expected. But I thought there was an enthusiasm even beyond normal for him. Did you sense that? Even beyond, they're always going to be excited. Look, it's the first day. It's your first day. It's your dream job. You can't wait to meet everybody, and you're undefeated. So you always expect that. But I thought even more than normal today was my take from him.
I agree. I mean, I think in looking at Liam, you see somebody that's very comfortable in his own skin, has a ton of confidence, and very respective of the people that have gotten him here and the people that have given him this opportunity. And it was cool that he said, I'm inspired by Shad Khan, and it's one of those things that that's stuff that's hard to fake.
Right.
Liam came across very genuine, very passionate, obviously, about the game, and I think the biggest thing was just his euphoria that this is his dream. This is somebody that obviously always wanted to be a coach, and now he is a head coach at the highest level that you can be a head coach at in this great sport. So, I thought it went great. I can't wait to watch the first practice, and again, hearing him kind of talk about this is about the players. We're here to help the players, and we weren't sitting far away from Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk and Tate Bigsby and Gabe Davis and Foye Oluokun, and you just couldn't help but feel them perk up to that. So I think he's got great messaging. You can see why they were dazzled by him.
Right.
Again, we'll see in terms of wins and losses. We're not going to know that for a long time. But in terms of how Liam Coen is wired, he certainly seems wired for this. And again, I commend him for stuff that happened last week. I think he has an idea of this is what I want. This is the alignment that I want, and I'm going to make sure I get it. And a lot of head coaches would not have had that. He really didn't have that leverage. And for him to be able to go do that and orchestrate everything, I thought it was masterful. So I think over the last week, starting with the firing of Trent Baalke to today at his press conference, I think it's been about as good a week as you could have for a new Jaguars head coach.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hays. And I'll say this one last time. We don't need to belabor this. He's the coach here, and that's all that matters now. But I will But I will tell you this, from my standpoint, the last time I'll say it, I don't need to go on and on about it. But people that have a problem with as a young guy with the opportunity of a lifetime that had to make sure he got it right. It took a few days and he had it right. This wasn't 3 weeks, 8 days, week and a half. A lot of decisions had made and then he reversed course. This was a guy in about 2 days. At one point thought maybe this isn't the job I want. And then less than a day later said, you know what? Let me think through this before I do it. And Billy Donovan changed his mind. Bill Belichick changed his mind. People change their minds. No one, and at no point was he ever trying to do anything other than get this thing right. So this belief among some, or these comments among some, that he handled it poorly, I think it's a bunch of crap. And I.
That's because it is.
Yeah. It's a bunch of crap.
Again, it's the most hypocritical thing I've ever heard for somebody to begrudge somebody for taking triple the salary.
Right.
I mean, give me a break. And to be your own boss.
Well,
who possibly would turn that down?
Well, but not correct, 100% correct. But Hays, this isn't like, well, he decided and it took 2 or 3 weeks and they hired a coach and they said no to another guy and they said no to this, and then after 2 weeks he said, I changed my mind. After all this stuff has happened, after all this investment and spending, and well, that's not what happened. It was a day. It was less than a day. He said, no, I'm gonna stay here. And then my guess is Shad reached out to him, and Shad got a hold of him. And once they started talking, all of a sudden it was like, you know what? Let me rethink this. That's what bothers. The timing is what bothers me the most. If it had taken a long time, and he had changed his mind over a matter of weeks after all this other money had been spent and investments had been made, then I could live with it. That's not what happened. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor that. I've said that enough times, but that annoyed me during all this. So I like what I heard from the coach. Just to kind of set the scene for you, it was in the team room. That's where the team meets when they meet as an entire team. It was not as big a press conference as we've had some other ones. It was media. Many members of the city council were there. Mayor Donna Deegan spoke at the end.
Mm-hmm. But only Shad and Liam
correct.
On the dais.
That's exactly right. It was only Shad and Liam on the dais, and that was sort of the plan. So was just to have those, and that was a good plan. So in that way it didn't move on. They didn't belabor it. It was well done. So it started out with Shad. Brian Sexton welcomed everybody as he does. He does a wonderful job of kind of setting the scene there. Then Shad spoke. Then Liam spoke. And then they both sat there and answered questions, and John Dever took everybody through it. I thought it was done really well. I guess that's the point. And you know what? I'm excited, man.
Absolutely.
I'm easily excited.
But this is what we wanted. We wanted a new vision of Jaguars football, and now it's here. And it's young, it's energetic, right. And it's going to be explosive.
Okay, he's going to be here shortly, we believe. Let's go ahead and take a break. Let's get back on time here. Liam Coen, the Jaguar head coach, should be here shortly. We'll talk to the newest Jaguar after this. We'll take a break. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Good time, bad time?
Time is an illusion. There is only the now.
So now's a good time?
It's a good time for 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Tax season is here, and your refund can go further at Big Chief Tire. Frank Frangie here. Put the extra cash to work by investing in your vehicle, whether it's overdue maintenance, brake repairs, or new tires. Their skilled technicians will help you get the most out of every dollar. With 5 Jacksonville locations, fair prices, and trusted service, Big Chief Tire has everything you need to hit the road with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Value or flavor? price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for 10, the pork and rib combo for 12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
And we welcome back to the program, Frank Frangie, with you as we welcome in the new coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Coen, who joins us now. Liam, how are you?
Frank, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's great having you here. And let me tell you, I've seen a lot of introductory press conferences. Man, you look excited. It was cool. I mean, it looked very real. Tell me what these last few days have been like. And can you exhale yet? What's it been like?
As you imagine, a whirlwind.
Yeah.
It has been. It's never easy when you're leaving a place, right? It's always hard. Family, friends, loved ones, players, coaches. It's always hard, but seeing what was on the other side is really what made this thing special. And you started to see, what could this be? What can this be? What it already is pretty cool. But this thing could be pretty special, and it's the people that make it that way. And I'm excited about adding to that.
I talked to Tony Baselli and some others in the interview, and they were blown away by how prepared, how excited, how ready you were for this. How do you get ready for that? How do you got all these people in the room and you got to answer all these questions. How do you prepare for this?
I think the best advice that I was given was just go truly be yourself. And that's, I know it sounds cliche.
Yeah.
And I think going into this season here in Tampa, actually, I was probably my most truest, authentic self that I've ever been. And results kind of followed. And so you start to look at and reassess yourself, right? And self-evaluate and reflect and say, okay, how do you go into a process where you got nothing to lose? You got a great opportunity here. Let's go truly be ourselves and see what happens. And when you get up in an interview and start doing a 3-step drop and talk in front of a bunch of guys and you go through it, I think that you're probably looking at me like I'm a little crazy, but that's me. And, I'm truly appreciative of that opportunity.
When you got to Tampa, Baker Mayfield's a really good player, and he's been his first overall pick. Of course, he's a good player.
Yep.
But you unlocked something that had not been unlocked. How did you, in 1 year, connect with him and with that offense in such a way that you changed it so dramatically?
First of all, just the honesty up front. Like, we come in, this is what I think guys can help you, make you guys better players, right? Once we truly connect with each player and say, how is your role and responsibility need to improve? Your 3 best things you did last year and the 3 things we think that you can do better. Well, once we established those things with those players, I think they saw an investment in them early on. And then we collectively took that data and that information and said, well, this is what it looks like offensively. This is what it looks like from our identity to truly put this thing together and be able to take it to another level, right? That's a successful organization over the last few years. It's been a successful offense overall, but the run game, the culture, the identity, that was something that we were proud of in terms of improving that area.
Liam, how did you build your offense? Dad ran the wishbone.
That's right.
And I'm an old guy now. I love the wishbone.
Yep.
We old guys love that, okay? Mm-hmm. But your dad, you were with a number of coaches. You talked about Mark Whipple, who's such a good offensive mind. We all know about Sean McVay.
Right.
Is that what you do? Do you take all that, and how does that all happen?
That's right. That's exactly what it is. It's a blend of everything, right? Where in terms of, as a young kid, watching him coach, watching my dad coach, and seeing how he treated people, how he talked to the players. I was in all those locker rooms, so you start to learn a fundamental idea of what you want it to look like as a young kid. And then you start to learn, right? You start to get with some of these coaches you mentioned with Mark Whipple, Phil Estes, Don Brown, and get into it with Sean and be around some of the guys that were in that building with Sean and I. It's pretty special, right? It's pretty special to be able to see. But that's what it comes down to is pulling pieces from all of those different systems and offenses and say, okay, this is what you want it to look like. And I think that's what it ultimately became.
What have you seen from this group? It's hard because you're coaching your team, and I get that. But you practiced here a couple days last week. What have you seen as best you can from Trevor? What have you seen on tape from Brian Thomas Jr.? What have you seen?
Well, I remember when, practicing here, we were on the other side, and I kept hearing oohs and ahs, and I kept looking over, and I'm like, geez, what happened? So I went back and watched the tape.
Yeah.
Well, geez, man, they're lighting it up, doing some good things. And then you start to really look into this job, right? And you start to watch more tape, watch more, and you start to see the competitiveness of these guys. The opportunity, obviously, with BTJ, with him ability to go in the slot and do some of the things he was able to do. I didn't know we had that skill set. So that was such a pleasant surprise to see. And then you see the two running backs, the quarterback, obviously, some of the pieces on the O-line that we can continue to improve on. And it's the overall theme of, man, this is not a 4-win team. Hey, how do we go from losing games, right, and beating ourselves? Hey, we're going to get beat, right? That's going to happen at some point, right? But if we don't beat ourselves, we got a much better chance of beating our opponent as well.
Final thing or two, because they got you loaded up here, so I appreciate you spending some time.
Thank you.
What's next, Liam? Is it hiring coaches? Is it? I mean, it's a whirlwind still, I know, but what's the plan now?
Yeah, the fundamental focus right now is to go hire the best staff that we can possibly put together for these players. That is the number one focus. Starts with the defensive coordinator position. Feel really good about being able to move on to the offense after we've done some of the work on the defensive side of the football first and foremost. Obviously, want to try to get the special teams taken care of. I think I've got a ton of respect for Heath and what he did. Love to be able to try to get that one locked in and get him back here, man. That's a fundamental piece that I would love to be able to get that done. I think we're really in a good spot with him. And that's the first thing, guys, right? That's the first thing we need to do is get this staff taken care of. And then move on to the next task. But that's the only thing. And really, honestly, guys, within this week, getting to know these players more. That's got to be the focus.
Yeah. So hopefully you're talking to Heath, who's very good.
Yeah. I have.
Is the important thing with is the offensive offensive line the big thing for a play caller?
Yeah.
Is that like position A as you try to build the staff?
Yes, that's the number one thing that we need to really get right. That is such an important position. When you go into a game plan, what we think about is how do we take care of and protect and make the game easier for the quarterback and the offensive line on the offensive side of the ball. On the flip side of it, defensively, how do we impact and affect the quarterback and the offensive line? That's really what we're trying to get accomplished. So the O-line hire, that process, that culture, all of what goes into that position, that's going to be one of the top hires that we make this year.
Liam Coen, the head coach. Let me echo something the mayor just told you. You're going to love this city. Your wife's going to love it. Your family's going to love it. Hey, man, it's great having you here. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
All right, Liam Coen, the brand new Jaguar coach, is in his first day on the job. We'll take a break. More in a moment. Stay
Appreciate it.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
The place for Jaguar news.
I just came from the Jaguars locker room, and I tell you what, it was interesting. This is what I...
Home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning has your back. Start the year fresh. No leaks, no clogs, no excuses. Call Duck Duck Rooter at 904-862-6769 today. Because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Happy New Year from everyone at Nimnik Chevrolet. Now look, as they begin 2025, Nimnik is so excited to offer even more choices and better prices for you, ensuring your car buying experience is second to none. And if you're wondering where to go for a better buying experience, it's simple. Nobody but Nimnik. So here's to another year of driving forward together. And don't forget now, in this new year means new truck time at Nimnik Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnik Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnik. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the distance. It boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor, and ask about a terrific low rate as well. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnik Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Before the Great American Race on Sunday, the high banks of Daytona heat up with a Saturday night showdown in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Experience the intense competition up close on the sport's biggest stage to kick off the 2025 season. The NASCAR Xfinity Series at Daytona International Speedway, Saturday, February 15th. Tickets start at just $49, and kids 12 and under are free in general admission. Secure your seats now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Pizza to Tea here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find the scratch kitchen that comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
I'm Ben from Beard's Diamonds. My father and I buy our stones direct from the diamond cutters. No middleman, no big company overhead, no commission salespeople, and we pass the savings on to you. Before you buy anywhere else, remember, Beard's Diamonds will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
When you're injured, you probably have more questions than answers, and all you really want is to feel better. This is Joe C., and I certainly can identify. Well, thanks to Rebound Rehab, I bounced back from a serious case of ankle tendonitis to feel pain-free. And they can do the same for you. 8 locations across the First Coast and a team of physical therapists ready to help. From laser and radio pressure wave therapy to aquatic and massage therapy, they can offer real solutions to help you rebound. Log on, reboundrehab.com, and start your path back to pain-free life.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast, before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents and will keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a rodent problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online just like I did. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
Denny Thompson here. Tyson Sound and Security has a huge prize sweepstakes now through the big game. I'm talking a 75-inch loaded Samsung TV with 3D surround sound, a sound bar with wireless subwoofer, and installation is included. Stop by the new showroom, check out the setup, and drop your name in the box for your chance to win the $2,500 prize now through February 9th. Tyson Sound and Security now at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
All right, welcome back. It's an exciting day. Liam Coen, we just met him, the brand new head coach of the Jaguars. My buddy Jeff Lagerman joins us now. What'd you think? You impressed?
Yeah. I mean, it's, for the last couple of weeks, I've been a little bit depressed, Frank.
Yeah?
And just.
Well, you have.
Well, the reason why is that, look, this is my love. This is my job. This is my heart and soul, this football team. And to see where it's been and the lack of success that it's had, it's just been frustrating.
Yeah.
And, you just kind of hope that we can get it right. And I think this is a step in the right direction. And then I also believe that another step in the right direction is that little nugget that Shaw dropped on us, that Tony's going to be involved in the process.
Yeah.
And I think when you've got, a guy that's got a belief and a love for the franchise helping out, I think that's a great thing.
What'd you take away from Liam in terms of his comments about the lines of scrimmage?
Well, look, I'm a big fan of the first off the bus club. And the reality is that if you look at what he did in Tampa and the success that he had in Tampa was because he was able to run the ball. And I don't think that the talent in Tampa up front, a great draft pick at center, great left tackle. The rest of that offensive line, is it great? No. But he was committed to it. And I think the commitment to the running game and the commitment to being physical, I think is going to help the bottom line. And the bottom line is that you've got $250 million invested in your quarterback.
Right.
And when you support that quarterback with that mindset, then you got a chance, because you can't expect that $250 million to do it all the time. There's only one Patrick Mahomes in this league, and the rest of them going to need a little bit of help.
Jeff, nobody watches more tape than you, so you've had to watch some tape of Tampa Bay. Certainly in the last week, I know you have. And well, take it back. You've been on vacation.
I have not.
Okay, good point. But before the vacation. But what do you think of his offense? What Liam's doing? It's a lot of what Sean McVay does. It's a lot of what do you think of? What have you seen so far from him?
Well, he's got balance, I think, which is important. And then he kept using the term today, that it's the players and not the plays. Okay, that's great. Okay, but the reality is, and that's just him, I think, being humble, because you have to have the right play calls to get the most out of the player's ability. And if you're not catering your calls to the player's ability, then the plays, they definitely don't matter. And so he's got a talent. He's got a skill doing that. At the end of the year, Sean McVay had a conference that he talked about where the Rams were and where they needed to be going forward for them. You know what he talked about? He talked about Liam and about what Liam's doing in Tampa. You got one of the great minds in the NFL talking about Liam Coen in Tampa? Are you kidding me?
Right.
So that ought to tell you how bright of a mind that he is. But what impressed me the most today is that you've got to be a leader of men. Okay, there's a lot of great offensive coordinators that, to be honest with you, sucked as head coaches. Okay, you got to be a front-of-the-room guy. And Liam Coen, I think after watching him today in that press conference and watching him in what I did this week, Frank, I did do this. I went back and watched his press conferences throughout the year.
Okay.
Good games, bad games.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get a feel for where he was at because, what you see in front of the media is also what you're going to see in front of a team.
Right.
And he impressed me. Wins and losses, how he handled it, how he was humble, how he was willing to accept responsibility, how he was able and willing to make players accountable, including himself. And I think that's a special trait, and that shows leadership.
I also was really impressed, when you inherit a job, not necessarily everything is broken. And he was on with Frank in the last segment talking about what a great job Heath Farwell did and how he's hopeful they seem to be pretty close.
Right.
Again, to me, that's the sign of a good head coach. Yes, obviously, things weren't right here, and that's why I'm here. But it doesn't necessarily mean everything's broken.
No.
And Heath Farwell is a great addition.
No, and it's the same thing. And Schott got kind of criticized for it back when he had press conference about moving forward. The last time he talked about how everything's not broken in the football side of things. Okay, and it's not all broken. I mean, there's things that need to be fixed. And look, Heath Farwell, Luke Thompson, which are the head special teams guy and the assistant special teams guy, two really good coaches. I mean, really good coaches. And look, if you've got good coaches, why go try to, find another one somewhere else? And on top of that, you're saving some money.
Right.
Because they're already probably under contract. And if they're going to be somewhere else and don't have the same pay scale, you got to pay the difference. So if you got good coaches on staff, keep them. I mean, there are some good coaches on this staff now, currently under contract. And there's some of them that aren't so good. And you can show them the door and then put your foot in the rear end on the way out if you want to.
The knowing what you've seen from him and knowing this team, we got a lot of time to talk about free agency and the draft, but let's take a sneak peek. Where does this team got to get better in your mind? What's first and foremost?
Well, you got to get more physical. I think up front, and Liam, there's a lot of smiles by Liam in his press conference today, but when he started talking about the offensive line, did you see his face change a little bit?
Yeah.
It got serious.
Yeah.
And I think he's dead on the money there. You got to get better. You got to get better everywhere you can, but you've got to be more physical. Unless you have a Patrick Mahomes, which again is a rarity. Look at the best teams in the league right now. The Philadelphia Eagles, one of the participants going to play in Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Arguably two of the most talented lines in football, offensive and defensive. So you want to kind of find a way to get to that point.
In terms of a defensive coordinator, because we do know there'll be a new one, what would you like to see Liam do? Maybe not even a name, but just what should he be looking for in your opinion?
Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of ways to scheme it up. Whether you play kind of conservative zone like a Gus Bradley or you go the Minnesota way, the Brian Flores way, where you play aggressive football and you're always sending guys from different directions. There's a lot of ways to do it. I don't think there's one cookie-cutter way that's the best way to do it. But the best way to do it is with the players that you have. You got to make sure that you're doing what they can do best. And right now, I think there's a lot of work to be done on the defensive side of the ball. I think in the back end, number one, and I think in the interior up front.
I can tell you, I get the sense, tell me agree or disagree, players are going to be excited about this. Now, you're always excited when there's a change. I know that. But he seems to be player guy. You get that sense?
Well, he's genuine.
Yeah, he is genuine.
And that's one of the things I think that I discovered watching his press conference through the year was that he just came off as real genuine. Yeah. Players have respect and love coaches when they're genuine. They're who they are. They're not trying to be somebody different. They're trying to be the best help that they can be for the players. And when the players know that they're on your side, okay, the coach is on my side, he's going to help me get to where I want to be, and he's going to help us get to where we want to be, then there's a love and a respect that exists going both ways.
We didn't get to this with Liam, but I'm curious your thoughts. How winnable is this division when you look at what Indianapolis and
I think
Houston
it's the most winnable division in football.
Yeah.
I really believe that. And the reason why I say that is because you've got a quarterback, and there's a lot of teams in the division that don't. I think the one in Houston, Frank, you know that I've said this many times, I think he's great. Mm-hmm. I think he's a special talent, but he had a year that was down this year.
Yeah, that's right.
And so that kind of makes you think, was year one what he is, or was year two what he is?
Yeah.
Because it didn't exactly kind of match. So a very winnable division, I would say. And I don't think there's another division that I would rather go to in football, maybe. than the NFC South.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. All right, you got to go. You got work to do. Happy day for the Jaguars, though. I thought.
Yes,
This is a good day.
absolutely,
This is a good day
absolutely. And here's the thing: it's the first step. I mean, there's more to come. You got to find the right general manager. You got to get alignment, and you got to make sure that the building is at its best. And I think that look. I loved what Shad said today, and he said, when you stop learning, you stop living.
Yeah.
And he, I think, was willing to accept and to self-reflect right there, and that's great. I mean, look, the reality is, Frank, me and you both as a broadcaster, we can be better.
That's right.
And
you learn every day.
And if you don't, then you're not. You might be 6 feet below ground.
That's exactly right. It's an exciting day. Jeff, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
1 hour to go on the program. We're live from the Miller Electric Center here at here just next to the stadium. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
A symphony of sweat, grit, and glory. Dive into the action and live the moments. For play-by-play, it's 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident, and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
You know, many plumbers won't quote prices over the phone and instead charge a service fee for an in-home estimate. Of course, because they know once they're in your home, you're probably not going to send them away. But Roland Reach Plumbing is different. Roland will give you a price quote over the phone, and there's never a trip charge or service fee for an estimate. So if you've got a leak and can't wait a week and don't like paying unnecessary fees, call on Roland Reach Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Our listeners have been killing it, and now we're set for the final stretch on the road to New Orleans. MyBookie is the one book that's got your back. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action. Does your other sports book pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back, and if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we've got you covered. Step up, use our promo code 1010XL, and that'll double your bankroll with a 50% deposit bonus right from the jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The big game prop bets are going to be plentiful, so take a hard look at player props and the wacky big game props you see each year from MyBookie. Stack that with MyBookie's risk-free Thursdays, so why wait? There's a new risk-free odds boost every Thursday. To find the bet, click the Bet Boost tab and scroll down. Sign up now and get your 50% bonus with MyBookie, the best sign-up bonus for Florida bettors. The road to New Orleans is here for the big game. Bet anything, anytime, from anywhere with MyBookie.
The 1010XL Restaurant of the Day is Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island, Clay County's first and only craft brewery and sourdough bakery with full table service at Barley and Pie in Fleming Island.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hays Carlyon.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com
so you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and we're now in the third week of the new year. Have you lost 18 pounds yet? Well, you probably didn't choose Awaken 180 weight loss. I lost 18 pounds in my first 3 weeks alone. Switch it up and get your results at awaken180weightloss.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Chose C for CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. They can transform your backyard with fire pits, pergolas, screen enclosures, and outdoor kitchens. And CSS handles the entire project from start to finish. You dream it, they build it. CSSOutdoor.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
The Florida Forum welcomes best-selling author and journalist Carl Hyacin, February 12th. Funds raised go to a Kids Care Mobile ICU, a neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicle. Kids Care vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,200 infants and children a year to Wilson Children's Hospital. Get your tickets at thefloridaforum.com or call 202-2886. 202-2886.
Hey gang, Prosser here. If you think you have problems related to the need to sell your home, we have solutions. And by we, I don't mean me. I mean ChadandSandy.com. That's Chad, A-N-D, Sandy.com. Call them today at 904-414-6200. Look, the problems could fall into a variety of areas. Maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. Maybe you need more space with a growing family. Doesn't matter what the problems are. You go to Chad and Sandy. Those problems are fixed. With all the recent talk about interest rates and economic uncertainty, you may be wondering if now is the right time to sell your home. Will you get the price you need? What about repairs or showings? The good news, you don't have to figure it out by yourself. You call my agents, Chad and Sandy Newman. They will deliver. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. The success stories are rolling in from all over town. Find out for yourself. Call Chad and Sandy today. That's Chad, A-N-D, Sandy.com.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Today, the Jaguars held their press conference for their next head coach, Liam Coen. Coen is a sharp, young, and extremely bright offensive mind, something every Jaguars fan has been hoping for to give Trevor Lawrence the best shot to be great. Coen played quarterback at UMass, where he holds 6 of 8 career passing records for the Minutemen and was inducted into their Athletic Hall of Fame in 2022. Coen began coaching career as the quarterback's coach at Brown University and got his NFL start in 2018 working as the assistant wide receivers coach for Sean McVay and the LA Rams, and continued to grow as Sean McVay thinks of him as one of the brightest offensive minds in football. This season, he led the Buccaneers to be the 3rd ranked in total yards per game and 4th in points per game as their offensive coordinator. It's 66 degrees at 4:59. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Hi, welcome back. Hour number 2. Doing a thank our friend from The Best Bet. The Best Bet is the best place to have a big time. The Best Bet Winter Open Series is underway now. Event number 1, a $400 no-limit hold'em tournament, $200,000 guarantee. head to the best bet with 3 great locations. Jacksonville is on Monument Road. Orange Park is on 17. And, of course, the best bet 95 near St. Augustine. Or best bet St. Augustine just off of 95. Frangie and Carlyon here. J.J. LaSalle there. A lot of things to get to. Fantastic AFC and NFC championship games. Florida wins again by 30. Big news on the Todd Golden front.
Yeah.
And we'll certainly get to that. So there's a lot of stuff. But the news of the day is Liam Coen is here, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm very excited. I thought he and Shad were terrific today. I thought Liam... all introductory press conferences are good. Everybody wins the press conference these days. But I thought beyond that, there was a realness, a genuineness to him. I was very excited with what we saw from the coach today.
I thought, again, one of the best moments of Liam Coen's press conference was when he looked at the players. Again, Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Tank Bigsby, Foye Oluokun. There were probably others, but they were sitting right next to us there in the media contingent, and I mean the eye contact and Liam, basically saying, look, it starts with them. I'm here for them, and I thought that being in the room, I thought it really resonated and with them and with everybody in the room. He just comes across as somebody that has the fire that you need. He's young. He's ambitious. He hasn't achieved anything yet. This is now his dream job. Now he gets to go chase dream goals that he's yearned about achieving since he was a little boy. And it was really cool hearing him. Really cool that his dad was here. Unfortunately, he lost his mom, but that his dad was here and talking about being a kid and being in those football locker rooms, talking about how he wants his kids to grow up to be like Trevor Lawrence and Josh Hines Allen and down the line. So, but that's what it's going to take. It's obviously he's a gifted offensive mind, and yes, he has to put them in the right position. But that communication and culture, I thought, really shone through when Liam talked, not just the press conference, but also with you here.
Yeah, so it was good having him here. If you didn't hear, he was on to the top of the program, and it was good. He gave us kind of an oversight of who he is, how he developed what he is. It was good stuff, and it was great having Liam Coen stop by here and spend some time with us a little bit today on the program. So the next step, getting a staff. I think that's the next step. I kind of asked him off air just a little bit, what's the timetable? And he said, what he said, the one advice that Coach McVay gave me, other people that I trust, he said, don't get in a hurry, get it right. He said, move quickly, but get it right. He said, the best advice I got is when you do the jobs you do here, do them the right way. And it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense. So I think he will. They'll hire a general manager. Shad Khan told us what the dates I laid out the other day. That by the end of February, the NFL league rule is you have to have your general manager hired by March 1st or the end of February, or you can't hire one until after the draft. And then after the draft, you have to have them hired by early July. I think it is. I think Shad was talking about this, or you can't for the whole year. But I think Shad made it. So I didn't know whether Shad made it clear. The goal is to have a general manager in place by the end of February, which is essentially about a month and a half.
Yeah, and there's no reason that they should need all that time. I am struck by. I'm surprised there isn't a little bit more of a sense of urgency with that, because it does seem like, from Shad's comments, Liam's comments, that Liam is more focused on the football staff. Yeah. And so, the process is underway. The Senior Bowl is this week. So you certainly would rather be, towards the opening part of February than at the deadline. So I'm a little surprised that doesn't have a little bit more momentum in terms of the GM. But again, I think it goes back to why. Yeah. I think it's because Liam Coen is really going to be the guy. Yeah. And so you have the guy. You have the guy that I think ultimately is going to be making the crucial decisions. And now it's about finding, the alignment with somebody that Liam's really excited to work with.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't have any inside information on that, so I don't know if they're moving along, if they're not. I think it's wise not to show your hand on stuff like that, who you're talking to and who you're not. But wherever I haven't heard a lot about that. But I will tell you that again, Shad made it clear, I thought, in the presser, that by February 28th, that's their goal to have it. If not before, and that doesn't mean it won't be well before that.
Right.
But his goal is to have that.
And interesting that Ethan Waugh was not up there.
Yeah.
So they didn't try to introduce him at all today as somebody that might be the general manager. Ethan was there; he was present. But he wasn't up there. With Shad and with Liam. So again, I would think that it's going to be obviously somebody from the outside, and no respect to Ethan, but that's probably the best thing.
Yeah.
They should keep Ethan. Ethan's an asset to the organization. But in looking at it, we're just sort of getting into this. There's going to be a whole other wave that comes in, and hopefully more of like a week to 10 days than 4 weeks with the general manager. But I thought it I thought it was a good sign that Liam Coen this is going to be his show.
Yeah, and he made it clear he's calling the plays. He was asked if he's calling the plays. He said, "Yes, I am. I'm going to call the plays." And and I know that was a big thing with Doug and Press and all that, but watching him call the plays, I'm excited for what I think that'll be, and I really am excited. So, okay, a couple other things let's get to. The games yesterday. What an amazing game, the Chiefs and the Bills. I'll get right to it, then I bury the lead. I thought Josh Allen had the first down. I thought it was clear. I thought it was odd that the two side judges come in and whoever's got the better look says, "I got the spot." It did look like the one who had the better look didn't have the spot because the way the ball was turned, that you saw the person who saw the back of Josh Allen got the spot, not the person that was looking at the ball, which I thought was weird. Mm-hmm. So I thought, but he also had a chance to win the game. I listen. You gotta be good enough that officials' calls don't get you beat. I will tell you, it wasn't the same as the Mark Andrews drop. The Mark Andrews drop was from 5 yards away. But goodness gracious, once again, it was a hard play. It was a broken play. Your quarterback's throwing it off his back foot as he's kind of falling down. Your tight end's got to change directions and dive for the ball. But that's the ball he catches 19 out of 20 times.
You got to make that catch. Yeah, I mean, it to me, was it routine? It wasn't as routine as the Mark Andrews drop.
Right. But you're an NFL player.
But it's a play in that moment for that city, what they've gone through.
Yeah.
You got to make that catch if you're Dalton Kincaid.
And I'll tell you, and I felt for him that he didn't, just like I did Andrews. But if he makes that catch, they control the game.
Without a doubt.
Because it was at the 2 minute. The play was, they snapped it at the 2-minute warning. So there would have been 1:50 or whatever left. The clock was turning, had all 3 timeouts, and would have had the ball to the 35-yard line. If you have the ball, I can tell you this, any coach will tell you this. If you can have a choice, have the ball at the plus 35, down 3 with your 3 timeouts, or be the other team that's ahead by 3, but the other team, you'd rather be the team trailing. If you could be at that moment, you'd never rather be trailing, but if you could have those 2 moments, if you could be the team,
Josh Allen
and all 3 timeouts, and because with today's kickers, for the most part, the game's already tied.
Right.
But barring a mistake, for the most part, the game now the Tyler Bass, good kicker, you can't automatically assume the 53-yarder is good, but 10, 15 more yards, it's a 40-yard field goal. So you've kind of already got the tie. So you're now house money so they would have been in position, Hays. They would have been in position to win the game. They would have been in better position than the Chiefs were if he makes the catch.
Without a doubt. And it is unfortunate in both Baltimore's loss and in Buffalo's loss that it was a drop that did them in. But you have to give Kansas City credit. I mean, they just find a way. I mean, I'm sick of it. You're sick of it. We're all sick of it. But, I never thought the Patriots dynasty would be rivaled in my lifetime. Never dreamed it would basically happen the second the Patriots one was over. And what Kansas City has been able to do, I mean, it's incredible. Philadelphia's better. Philadelphia should probably beat them, but they won't. Kansas City will find a way to win because Mahomes is just incredible when he has to be.
Yeah, so yeah, it's hard to pick Kansas City not to win until they haven't won. So it'll be hard to so we'll talk more about that. Obviously, as the week goes on, again, today's all about Liam Coen. I'm remiss, though, if I don't bring up the story with Todd Golden. Todd Golden's Todd Golden's a lawyer had a. Did you see the statement?
Mm-hmm.
He had a statement today, and it was both he and Todd had a statement that I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
I thought, first of all,
it was basically, once I cut down the nets, I'm coming after you.
Yeah, it really was. First of all, this is from his. I'm going to read it. This is from his agent or his attorney, really, with Hall & Knight. The University of Florida informed me that the Title IX investigation into Coach Todd Golden has finally been dismissed. The investigation found no evidence to support the allegations against Coach Golden. The university's conclusion proves that the complaint was meritless. Coach Golden and I have respected the process throughout while actively engaging with the university. However, there were many who did not respect the investigative process. Instead, they sought to target Coach Golden and drive their agenda and this investigation for their own self-interest. Some leaked confidential material to the media, falsely posed as a UF lawyer in an effort to intimidate, harassed UF students and parents to try and generate a false narrative, and harassed my client, his family, and his friends. Now, he goes on to say, we thank the school. It's time to move forward. Now that it's concluded, Coach can continue to focus on the basketball season, quote, and consider his legal options in the offseason. What does that tell you?
That he's going to cut the nets down, and then they're going to sue.
Yeah.
And look, it seems that these allegations were the kind of stuff that's hard for people like the public to move beyond.
Right.
I mean, and to take this approach and attack somebody like this.
Right.
I would absolutely imagine, Todd Golden is going to want his day in court on the other side. And now that he's been exonerated, it's great. I really hope Florida goes above and beyond to show what a key piece of this, athletic department that he has become. I think he's making like $4 million now. Go ahead and give him the extension. You don't have to go see him do anything in this NCAA tournament. He is obviously the best coach you're ever find. So hopefully, now that this is behind the university, they can really start moving towards a very lucrative extension for Todd Golden that bumps his salary into the top 5 in the nation, where it deserves to be.
All right, interesting stuff. We'll talk more coming up in just a bit. But anyway, let's take a break. Hays has some headlines. There's other things going on in the world of sports. But the big news today, Liam Coen met the media today, met the fans today, came on our show today. It's great to have a new Jaguar coach in town. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
I did not see this one coming.
Radio play-by-play is like stepping in a theater in your mind.
As good as it gets.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
This is Hays Carlyon here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish family, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. It's cold outside, and the best way to stay warm this winter is with the new Bono's limited time offer, a signature Bono's barbecue sandwich paired with your choice of savory super chili, starting at just $11.99. Your choice of a pulled pork, smoked turkey, smoked sausage, char-grilled chicken, or beef brisket sandwich, plus a bowl of a hot, delicious soup or chili. You can't beat that deal, so hurry into Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
I've known Glenn Coen for a long time as a friend and a lawyer. Persistent and fair, Glenn and his firm have represented clients from North Florida and South Georgia for over 40 years in all kinds of personal injury cases. If I had such a case, call Glenn at Barnes and Coen.
The Florida Forum welcomes best-selling author and journalist Carl Hyacin, February 12th. Funds raised go to a Kids Care Mobile ICU, a neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicle. Kids Care vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,200 infants and children a year to Wilson Children's Hospital. Get your tickets at thefloridaforum.com or call 202-2886. 202-2886.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. Every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude, stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air and Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Matt Hayes here for Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, John, looking for the perfect family ride?
How about taking your family on a luxury ride with the all-new 2024 Cadillac Escalade?
That sounds amazing. If you're a loyal customer, you get $4,000 off. Or if you're new to Randy Marion, you can get a $3,000 Conquest discount.
And don't forget the 5% savings on retired courtesy transportation vehicles.
You can save over $10,000 on select 2024 Escalade.
Experience the luxury and comfort at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank Liam Coen had his introductory press conference today and then joined you for a few minutes earlier in the show. What were your thoughts?
I think he's really very genuine, very real, very excited, as you might imagine. I think we're really going to like this guy. I think, and we always say that. I mean, you say that about every introductory press conference. I know that. But I told him this. I've been to a bunch of these. We all have. He's really excited. This is very real for him. I love the way what he said about his wife and his dad and his family. I thought that was very genuine. I like this guy. I think he's a regular guy, and I think he's a good football coach. Now, we'll see. I'll say what I've always said. You never know how good the assistant turned head coach will be until he becomes a head coach. But all the signs are this guy's going to be pretty good. I enjoyed meeting him. I enjoyed what I think we're going to have from him.
Liam Coen, it looks like moving fast trying to build his staff. The Jaguars reportedly will interview with Vikings passing game coordinator and DB's coach Durante Jones for that defensive coordinator position.
Yeah, and I think he's going to try and move quickly. I think he's going to, he knows the soon. That's one. Again, we talked a little bit off air, and he said, listen, the advice I've been given is get it right. Make sure you get it right. Don't be in a hurry. That doesn't mean you dawdle, but it just means make sure you get it right. And I like I said, I like the processing of this guy. I think he's a sharp dude. I really do.
Absolutely. Before we get it off of the Jaguars, let's wish this guy a happy birthday.
1st and 5. Split receivers. Reggie Williams in motion from the right side of the formation. And the handoff to Taylor, looking for room over the left. Finds a hole. He's free. Look at him go. Break and tackle. He's on the run at the 50. Gets a block. He's gone. 40, 30. Fred to the 25 and the 20. To the outside 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Fred Taylor on the first play of the game. 62 yards.
How about that? 2003 versus the Raiders. Happy birthday wishes to Jags great Fred Taylor, who turns 49 today. Taylor rushed for 11,271 yards and 62 touchdowns with the Jaguars from 1998 to 2008.
That's fan. Brian Sexton on the call, too, by the way. Nice job, Brian, and nice job, Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor's such a good player. I mean, such a down-to-earth guy. Looks like he could play right now, by the way. Yes. And I hope he gets to Canton this year. But happy birthday to the great Fred Taylor. I agree with you.
Let's get to Championship Sunday in the AFC. The Chiefs edged the Bills 32-29 to reach a third straight Super Bowl. Kansas City is trying to become the first team to ever three-peat. Patrick Mahomes accounts for 3 touchdowns, including 2 on the ground. Xavier Worthy, who the Bills allowed the Chiefs to select in a trade back, had 101 yards of offense and a touchdown.
And a lot of that game, there's so many things about that game we'll get to as kind of the weeks go on. But I will tell you this, one of the things that kind of stood out the most was Andy Reid's play calling. I mean, they had to find a short yardage play, and that rollout play to the right, they found something that the Bills weren't ready for, didn't they? They found something that Bobby Babbitt and Sean McDermott weren't ready for. And I thought they did a fantastic job. He's a good coach, man. You have that good a coach and that good a player, you can be pretty good.
In the NFC, the Eagles run through the Commanders 55-23. Saquon Barkley continues his incredible season with 118 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts also rushed for 3 scores and threw another.
Yeah, he really did. Jalen Hurts is fun to watch. I told you, they're the old school Titans, the old school Steelers. They're physical. They're, was Jerome Bettis more important than Ben Roethlisberger? Was Eddie George more important than Steve McNair? Was maybe not more important, but they were built around the personalities of those big physical runners and those really good defenses and the physicality of those football teams. And that's how the Eagles are built. This will be a fun Super Bowl now. I think the Chiefs are better, but because of Barkley and the way Hurts is playing, I don't know if they're a lot better. Is the line out yet? Is there a line yet?
Yeah, Chiefs are 1.5 points.
Yeah,
favorite.
I would think it would be no bigger than that. This should be one heck of a Super Bowl.
Let's get to around the NFL. The Patriots coach Mike Vrabel, he's hiring former Jaguars coach Doug Marrone, I would think to be the Patriots offensive line coach, but they have not determined that yet.
I certainly think he'll be involved with the offensive line, whether it's the line coach, whether it's an assistant line coach. I don't think analyst. I think it's something more significant than that. So it'll be interesting to see. Good for Doug Marrone. Good for back in it and under a very good head coach.
Let's get to the NFL draft. Daniel Jeremiah has his first mock of the season out. He has the Titans taking Penn State edge Abdul Carter, number 1. Travis Hunter goes second to Cleveland, followed by Cam Ward to the Giants, and LSU left tackle Will Campbell to the Patriots. That leaves the Jags on the board, and Daniel Jeremiah has Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham coming to Duval. Jeremiah says Graham is one of the cleanest evaluations in the draft, providing unbelievable quickness, balance, and instincts.
If I was picking there, and that's how it played out the first 4 picks, that is who I would take. I know people love the corner from Michigan. I love people love the receiver from Arizona. But I love Mason Graham. I think they've got to get more physical at the line of scrimmage. I think the offensive front and the defensive tackles and the lack of physicality, those 2 spots really hurt this team each of the last 2 years, but particularly last year.
In the world of college football, UF hires Vinny Sunseri as co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach. The 33-year-old Sunseri accepted the defensive coordinator job at Jacksonville State this offseason after being safeties coach at Washington this past year.
I'm rooting for Billy Napier. I'm rooting for the Gators because I always root for the Gators. Here's the reality. Joe Cullen, the defensive line coach from the Chiefs, who turned down Michigan last year for $2.5 million to be the coordinator, who is now hearing from Ryan Day on a regular basis after he lost Jim Knowles, wanted the job. Will Muschamp, who, say what you want about Will Muschamp, one of the best defensive minds I've been around in a long time, wanted the job. And instead, Billy hired a guy just over 30 that he had coached at Alabama or had been on the team when he was coaching at Alabama. Billy's MO is to hire young, aspiring, up-and-coming coaches that will look up to him and that may one day be very good rather than go get the veteran coach. I know Ron Roberts was a veteran coach who we brought in last year, but his MO at almost every spot, other than Billy Gonzalez and Ron Roberts, is always go get the young, upcoming guy. And I thought he had a chance to get some more veteran guys. We'll see. I hope it works out well for him, and I'm excited if it does.
Yeah, it looks like a disappointing hire to me in terms of a school going all in. And we've talked about Penn State here over the last week since the college football season ended. Penn State, James Franklin with a huge move. They go hire Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, as you mentioned. Penn State all in.
Yeah, Jim Knowles, by the way, wanted to stay at Ohio State. But the $3 million or whatever he's getting from Penn State, Ohio State couldn't get anywhere close to it, which is interesting to me. I'll be interested. Again, keep an eye on our buddy Joe Cullen for that job, because I do know that Ryan Day's reached out. I know they've talked twice about the potential before the Knowles thing was even announced. So, but yeah, Penn State's going all in. Good for them.
Some big college basketball news today. Todd Golden cleared in the Title IX investigation. Great news for the Gators.
Yeah, it really is. That's a crazy story. Todd Golden, to his credit, has said all along, I wish I could tell my story. I wish I could tell my side of it. I would love to say more. I would love to say more. He has said that across the board. I would love to say more. His attorney made it pretty clear today. There were some real accusations in the attorney's statement today. Someone posing as a university lawyer, harassing students to get them to build a case against Golden. I'll be very interested to see where the season will end and however it ends. And I'm like you, hopefully Golden gets a big extension. But after that's all over, I'll be very interested to see the counter legal action that comes from the Golden camp.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's get into the Florida game on the court. The Gators thrashed Georgia 89-59 for a 12th straight win in the series. Todd Golden now 6-0 versus Mike White. Elijah Martin scored all 17 of his points in the first half. Walter Clayton also scored 17, while Will Richard had 16. The Gators forced 18 Georgia turnovers. UF improved to 18-2 overall and 5-2 in SEC play.
I got to tell you, look, it's a tough league, and they're about to take on a 4-game stretch. It'll be their toughest stretch of the year, by the way. But they beat Georgia by 30. They beat Tennessee by 30. They beat Texas by 24. That just doesn't happen. You don't blow out people like that. I mean, that's 3 home wins against reputable SEC programs by 24 points or more. I was there. I was in that arena. That thing was electric, Hays. Good luck. I thought good luck being Georgia on that day. I mean, it was just that crazy in there. It was a physical game. Somebody, by the way, got under Elijah Martin's skin early on. He was jawing with the Georgia bench. They were jawing back. The officials, and I mean the first 5-10 minutes of the game, officials had to separate him, and he went for 17 in the first half. He was wound up, man. So that was a fiery, edgy Florida team. But now look, their next 4 games at Tennessee, in whatever order, at Tennessee, home against Vanderbilt, at Auburn, at Mississippi State. That is 4 hard games. Vanderbilt's better than you think.
Oh, yeah.
In the other 3 games, they might even be underdogs. So
Sure.
that's the hardest 4-game stretch of the year comes right now.
Yeah, 2-2 in the next 4 would be pretty respectable for the Gators. The Gators also could be getting center Micah Hand-Logden back. The 7-1 log averaged 5 points and 7 rebounds in 19 minutes a game last season for Florida prior to breaking his leg in the SEC tournament final. The Gators are off until Saturday when they play Tennessee. Do you think we'll see Hand-Logden back?
He's got to decide. My guess is he will. If you follow this story, he originally was going to be out for the whole year, redshirt the year. But then he's been feeling better, so they finally let him practice, and he's practiced very well. And he's been getting better and getting in better shape, so much so that the school was ready to play him. And they were ready to announce that he was going to play. And at that point, he had second thoughts, whether it was fear of the injury again, whether it's fear that he wasn't in good shape. He went back to the coaches and said, listen, I'm not sure I'm ready. Todd Golden said, we get it. And Golden said in his presser afterwards, listen, we're not going to, this is up to him. We're ready to have him back, but if not, we're not going to pressure him. We understand this was an emotional injury. This was a very difficult rehab, and we're going to let Micah decide which is the right call.
Absolutely. Florida State loses at Stanford 78-71 as the Noles season starts to slip away.
Yeah.
FSU is 13-7 overall, 4-5 in ACC play. Combined, the FSU football and men's hoops teams this academic year are 15-17.
Yeah, and in the basketball, you know, football had a very bad year. Basketball looked like there was something there early on, Hays, but then it started to fade for them. And listen, who knows how long they stay with Leonard Hamilton? He's been there a long time. I don't know that he stays forever. We'll see.
JU beats Queens College on the road 87-77, led by Robert McCray's 24 points. The Dolphins are now in sole possession of first place in the ASUN with a 7-1 record. The Dolphins made 10 threes again and out-rebounded Queens by 10.
JU now has people looking to shoot. That's what they have not had. They've overpassed. They've looked at the extra pass too much. Now, if you get the open look, you make it. You take it. And if you start making some of those, JU's always done the other stuff. They've always defended. They've always rebounded. They've always hustled. This is a good JU team. They're 7-1 in the league now. We got a Rumble, by the way, coming up on Saturday, which I love. But JU back at home now you're 7-1 and you got back-to-back home games coming up. You could really put some distance between you and the field. Good for Jordan Mincy and his team.
Absolutely. UNF unable to follow up a big win at Queens College, losing at West Georgia 92-72. West Georgia shot 54% from the field and out-rebounded the Ospreys 38-28. UNF fell to 3-5 in ASUN play, while West Georgia improved to 2-6.
That's a tough loss because Matthew Driscoll would say West Georgia was not a team that should beat UNF. They were only what were they 2-6?
They're 1-6 going into the game.
They were 1-6 before the game. Yeah, so that's one that got away from Matthew Driscoll's team and it shouldn't have. But hey, you still got a chance to bounce back. But you got the bouncing back's got to start sooner rather than later.
And they probably thought 1-1 on the trip. They just flipped it.
That's right.
Unfortunately,
but I thought when they got Queens, they were going to win this one, and all of a sudden you're 4-4 in the league. You've got a little momentum, and you got So I thought that's where it land.
Absolutely, and we will get you guys out on our musical note of the day. Happy birthday wishes to the late Eddie Van Halen, the legendary guitarist. Would have been 70 today. He died in 2020. As a band, Van Halen has sold over 80 million albums worldwide. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2007. This is Panama.
I love it. Who didn't love Van Halen? You kidding me? One of the great American bands, no question about it. Well done. We're live at the Miller Electric Center. We'll take a break and wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Find your New Year stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a 50% bump on your first deposit. For a limited time, MyBookie will add 50% to your initial deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Chiefs are a 1.5-point favorite in the big game over the Eagles at the Superdome. The over-under is 49.5 points. There are also great player props that you've got to check out. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a 50% bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans on February 9th as the Kansas City Chiefs will face the Philadelphia Eagles. For the Chiefs, they're trying to become the first team to win 3 straight Super Bowls. They're in the game for the 5th time in the past 6 seasons. This is a rematch of Super Bowl 57, which the Chiefs won 2 years ago. Kansas City opening up as an early 1.5-point favorite, while the Eagles are plus 105 on the money line. Chiefs are minus 125 with the over-under set right now at 59.5. Saquon Barkley is minus 550 to have the most rushing yards in the Super Bowl. Kareem Hunt is at plus 750. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
New Year's resolutions. But let's be honest, by February, that gym membership is just a $50 a month guilt trip.
So why not take that cash and finally fix your leaky faucet, unclog that drain, or tune up your AC?
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning has your back. Start the year fresh. No leaks, no clogs, no excuses.
It's a resolution you'll actually keep.
Call Duck Duck Rooter at 904-862-6769 today. Because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Hi, I'm Matt McDonald, founder and executive director of Next 18. Thanks to the Players Championship, we're using golf to support mental wellness for veterans and first responders. It's 43 days until the Players.
She's seen and heard all over 1010XL's video and social channels.
Whether the big cats are at the bank or on the road, I'm there too. Follow my updates all season long, on air and online.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE NeoGraft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been today? Let's cool down by looking back. We were here at the Miller Electric Center as we welcomed in Liam Coen, the brand new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Great to see Liam today. He stopped by the program, which we certainly appreciate, and talked a little bit about his vision and where he thinks this thing's headed. And it was really great to catch up with him. So Liam Coen, the brand new Jaguar coach, he's been the story of the day. He had his press conference. You heard the entire presser live on both our AM and FM radio stations. And then you heard him come by for about 5 to 8 minutes. And we appreciate that as well. That's been the story of the day. We talked a little bit about the NFL games. Philadelphia beating Washington and Kansas City beating Buffalo. So it's the Eagles and the Chiefs in what could be one of the most competitive Super Bowls we've had. I say that we've had some close ones, but certainly one of the most hyped going into the game we've had in a long time. We talked about that today. The Gator basketball team wins easily again. Big news that we would have focused on a lot more had we not had the Liam Coen news is that Todd Golden's case has been dismissed. So there could be a civil suit, I suppose, but the Title IX lawsuit has been dismissed. That is good news. His attorney was very aggressive in his answer, really lashing out, I should say, at the accusers, or some of the accusers, certainly some of the, I should re-say that, some of the people involved in the story. And so we talked all about that today on the program. That's where we have been, and we are glad you're with us. We thank our friends from the Best Bet, always the Best Bet Monday around here. And, of course, we are live from the Miller Electric Center next to the stadium. Good day today for the Jags. The story of the day was Liam Coen met with the media. Energetic guy, exciting guy. He's got to build a staff now. You also heard news. He told me he's trying to get the Heath Farwell thing done, and then moments later you saw stories that they have re-signed him as a special teams coordinator.
That's fantastic.
That is, he's a really good coach. He's a really good coach, respected by his players. Hey, look, if you can get the good coaches, you get all the good coaches you can. If you got one right under your nose, don't let him get away. That makes a lot of sense.
Without a doubt. And again, I think Liam Coen said a lot of great things at his press conference, but I really enjoyed hearing him talk about his offensive line. And when we break the huddle, the first thing the defense sees is that offensive line. And we need that to mean something. I loved that because I don't know that they've had that here for a while.
Yeah.
And you got to go invest in it, obviously. I mean, they've got some pieces here. We know they feel good about their tackles, obviously. But the interior, I think, is certainly open for competition. And so I think it's going to be really interesting to see. You know, you only have so much ammunition in an off season, and you can only take one player at 5. So I'm really intrigued to see what they do in free agency and certainly in the draft to boost that offensive line. And as we talked about on the defensive side, he certainly complimented Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker, but he did make a point of saying, in the interior there, we need some answers. So I'm real excited about what appears to be his passion for building up both those lines of scrimmage.
Yeah, and listen, the whole process will be fun. Watching him build this team, watching them rebuild the franchise. I'll say what we've said all along. The starting point is good. I think it's a good starting point for this thing. I think the football team is in good shape. I think there's a foundation there, a good foundation there. And I like where they are. I like the way everything played out today. I think it was well done. They did it the right way, and I do. I think it was they landed the right coach. I'll say this. I've said all along. It's the coach I hope they'd land all along. I felt that before I ever knew they were trying to get him. He was the guy, along with Ben Johnson, that I thought was the right guy, and so I'm really excited about where they are, and so it'll now be fun to track. They'll hire a general manager again. If you didn't hear our conversation earlier, if you didn't hear the press conference, Shad Khan, when asked that question at the presser, pretty much said that the rules are that you have to have it hired by February 28th, or you can't do it till after the draft. Well, and you can go either way. Shad seemed to make it clear that they will pursue a GM and hope to have a GM hired by then. And so I have no idea who that is. I have not heard any insight on it's this guy or that guy, but I've seen all the names. I've seen all the names all over Twitter, but I haven't heard from anybody that I can tell that one name is ahead of another. So I don't know where they'll land, but hopefully they'll land with I know they'll land with somebody they're excited about, so we'll see. And Liam will build his staff, and like you said, he'll build the offensive front. I would imagine there will be a quote-unquote offensive coordinator who has the title, but it won't be a play caller. So someone looking to call plays, Liam even said in his press conference, one of the reasons he left the Rams and went right back to Kentucky was he missed calling plays. Wasn't that interesting, I thought?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's good to hear that. Again, not to rehash the past, but, we were all excited. Doug Peterson was here, and Doug Peterson was going to call plays. And so it's great to hear that Liam Coen is got a great energy for that. And, again, he's at such a different point in his life than Doug Peterson was when he arrived. And I think that there is a great potency to that, to the young, ambitious coach who hasn't done anything yet as a head coach. I think there is a powerful motivation there that hopefully will bring a lot of great times to us here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, so we're excited. I'm excited about where it goes. We'll talk more about the Super Bowl in the coming weeks. It's going to be a good Super Bowl.
I'm excited about it.
I really think
I was hoping it wasn't the matchup I wanted, but in terms of a game and the matchups within the on both sides of the ball, yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how it plays out.
I think it's the best matchup. I wasn't rooting for it because I'm just like everybody else. You root for the underdog, and we're kind of chiefed out. We've seen our fill of the Kansas City Chiefs, but I wasn't necessarily rooting for this one. But I think it's the best one. I think it's the best one we could have gotten. The other possibility would have been Kansas City, Detroit. But I think Washington, I did not. We talked a lot about the Buffalo Kansas City game. We did not talk much yet. We will the week goes on about the Washington Philadelphia game. Washington obviously shot itself in the foot with all the turnovers, which is interesting because they won a week earlier when Detroit did the same thing. But I did, and we had this talk I think last week. It did feel like that game was a little bit big for Washington. Didn't you sense that?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, and even before the game.
Yeah, I mean,
we talked about
the special teams miscues or, fumbling on returns and, right out of the gate and allowing that momentum to get away from you. But how about Saquon Barkley on that first carry?
How good is he? My goodness.
What a highlight reel he's put together this season. So it'll be great. Look, Kansas City will have a great plan for him. We know that. Spags will have his guys lined up right, but will they be able to actually get Saquon Barkley down to the ground? Probably yes, because the Chiefs seem to be able to answer every riddle. But what Philadelphia will throw at them will be a challenge for sure. It'd be a fantastic game to watch.
Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Rick, you were on hand for the presser today. You asked one of the first questions of Liam Coen. What did you think of him meeting him for the first time?
Well, everyone wins a press conference. I've been doing this for a very long period of time, just like you two have, and I'm trying to think whether it was over at Florida State, in Chicago, or here, if anyone's ever lost a press conference. What I liked about this with Liam Coen, though, is that it felt raw. He felt, in my opinion, it was like it was an honor for him to be up there. He really was in a situation where it was, in fact, a dream come true, where 3 years ago, Doug Peterson walked in. He was the smartest guy in the room. He was a Super Bowl winning quarterback who's been around the NFL as a backup quarterback and a coach for decades. So, I love that about him. The thing that I got most that impressed me, and I'm going to talk an awful lot about this over the next couple of hours, is you can tell that toughness is important for him in the ditch. Offensive line, defensive line. I think Hays did ask that question, and that is something that they've had in Tampa. Even at times when they struggled defensively, they were still a physical team in the ditch, and obviously we saw what he was able to do with their rushing attack from 2023 when he wasn't there. It was last to taking into the top 4 this past year. So that's what really excited me the most, is that you can have Trevor Lawrence and you can have a great quarterback, but if you can't run and stop the run in this league, you're not going to win football games.
All right, that's all coming up tonight. What else?
Yep, we got all that coming up. Got a lot that I felt that Shad Khan told us that we learn something every day. I felt like I learned something this afternoon at the press conference at the Miller Electric Center, and I'm going to share that with our listeners.
All right, sounds good, Rick. Rick Beluga's into the night, and that happens right now. Folks, that's our program. Thanks for being part of it. Do want to thank Liam Coen again for stopping by. Our friend John Dever made sure he brought him by, and we thanks to both of them. But Liam, I thought, was terrific on the program. Thanks to Jeff Lagerman for stopping by for a little bit as well. It was great to be down here at the Miller Electric Center. We're out of here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle